Nothing quite like doing a dice photo project and immediately dropping one of the D6s down the crevice in between one of your seats in the car as the little container of dice breaks open by accident. So yeah, night one, I don't have much to say, but I'm gonna spend the time to try and put some of my thoughts to words. I spent most of the other night being rather rambly, so I'll probably keep this one relatively short. Yeah, I don't know, I took a couple extra photos here. The autofocus on one of my lenses doesn't seem to be working correctly, which bites, but also it's not a super great lens, so it's not like a hugely terrible loss, and this is also a camera I plan on replacing eventually, so it's whatever. Also, it forces me to manually learn how to focus again, which I think is actually a good, it's one of those like trial by fire things. I will eventually learn how to focus on the camera as the project continues, so probably not a terrible thing. So yeah, that's about it. I wanted to get more done today, but today got dedicated almost entirely to yard work, which was something I was not expecting to do. So yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get more done. I'm gonna have to keep this one quiet because it is relatively late and it's been a very long day. But yeah, I did throw the thing up on Instagram this time for the Dice Project relatively early, which is nice. And I took a couple of fun photos in a couple of different places. We went over to help my grandfather get his pool running, which was nice. And I took some photos over there because he's got a really nice view of some spaces. He's got some really nice trees over there that makes for some really nice photos. And also found out that this thing here is waterproof. So I had a couple of fun moments with that. Some raccoon or something like that is wandering around somewhere over in the street. I can freaking hear the damn thing. Anyways, I don't know how to make this camera shoot in black and white, but I have figured out how to make my Canon shoot in black and white because I had a friend of mine that I had spoken to in years, and not even in a case of like, oh, hey, COVID made, you know, whatever. It was just a case that I don't think I'd spoken to him since moving off of, I was about to say moving off of the island, moving to the island out of New Jersey. His name's Matt Descala. He is essentially a professional photographer and videographer, and he saw the initial thing where I was like, oh, I'm not good at this yet, but you know, I'm getting back into it, it'll be fun. And his response was like, hey man, if you want to get good at this fast, shoot exclusively in black and white. It'll force you to learn composition and lighting faster than shooting in color. And I mean, the dude gets paid to do that sort of stuff for a living, so I figured, you know, why not try that at least for like a week or 2 weeks just to get, you know, some level of something in there. So I have to go through the documentation on some stuff, but yeah, it was really fun too though, because he was just like, yeah man, like do this, you'll get good, and then you'll learn how to do cool shit, and then you'll be able to shoot cool shit. So yeah, that was a pleasant surprise to say the least. We're gonna see how the next week goes on, because things are gonna get strange and busy very quickly. And I've been putting off going to the orthopedist because my back keeps being fine, and then things like the yard work from this weekend start making it be aggravated again. And I'm like, okay, this means I should get it looked at just to make sure it's not anything crazy. But I don't want to, because that means I'm gonna get shit for having gained back the weight that I lost, that I was losing because of reasons. It's a whole thing. But I should do it anyways, especially because I probably won't have health insurance in 2 months, so better get that in now. But yeah, it's been a weird weekend, weird start to the month. We'll see how things keep going. I'm gonna try and experiment more with some videography stuff, I can words, on top of the photography, because I have the camera here that I'm messing with that's in my pocket. So I don't know, things will be fun. Time lapses will be done, videography stuff will be done. it's all just a bunch of experimenting, see what comes where. I'm not sure I'll be able to do anything with the story. It's mostly just getting interesting shots. If I ever do try to just put something together, it's probably going to be at the end of the month when I go visit Charles, because then there'll be two of us, and Charles is better at writing, so we'll actually be able to put like a short story of some kind together. It'll be an interesting time. We'll have to see how that goes. Anyways, that's day 2, I guess. Once again, I'm outside at a very late point. I'm actually going to face this way because there's an AC running in that direction. I hope this audio is even intelligible. But yeah, weird long day. Did some stuff at certain points. Mostly for work, just relearning Photoshop and stuff in case I have a job if the company gets bought. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I feel kind of bad because the level of things like kind of slowly but surely collapsing at work, I think is starting to get to me a little bit. And something that came out at Charles today where we were trying to work on a thing, but yeah, I don't know. It was dumb and I feel bad about it, but hopefully I can help with that as things get better. Tomorrow is car stuff, and then the plan is further music after I get some client projects done, hopefully. And yeah, I don't know. It's another instance of not much to say today because not much got done. Mondays are just long. There's work, and then there's the freelance gig, which, in fairness, the freelance gig isn't bad. It's okay. It pays okay. The Rich is a good dude. You know, he is very enthusiastic to be able to do the sort of producing stuff that he's learning to do, and yeah, I don't know. But still, long and exhausting. So I finally managed to get a photo, but I didn't get anything really with the Canon, and I only got like a shot or two with this thing, which apparently can't even do black and white, as I discovered, which is unfortunate, but it's whatever. The hell was that? I think a stick fell on our roof. I'm gonna review the audio and just see the waveform spike in that. Anyways, that's all for today, and hopefully tomorrow more will happen, and I will have things to discuss more. We shall see. So, there's a mall like 5 minutes from where I work, which I sat there and once went, you know, I want to go check that out, because I know that's next to like the IKEA, and there's like an Arby's and such in here, and I just wanted to see what's there. And it turns out there's an entire arcade in there. First off, it's open, which is cool, but there's an arcade in there, which is pretty neat. Food court sucks though, which bites. But yeah, that was fun. I actually got today's dice shot in there, which was interesting. Yeah, today was an interesting day. I have some stuff that's mulling over my head, but I'm probably gonna put those to video once I get home, or at least closer to home. So, let's go there first. Okay, actually, gesture control on this thing is pretty cool. One of these days I'll get actual footage during like daylight hours, but also I keep getting home and then having to do things, and then dumb stuff keeps getting in the way. But yeah, I'll be out here for a little bit to do some things. The first thing is I'm still astounded that there's an arcade like 5 minutes from my job. That's not going to last for multiple reasons. But the arcade itself is cool, and going through the mall was fun and interesting. I still need to get used to not feeling weird dragging a camera of some kind around or taking photos in public spaces, but I'll get used to it eventually at some point. I got some fun shots today. But yeah, since I really only use the Canon to get the one dice shot, everything else is shot on this. But the nice thing was it was all very like run and gun and go, because I was like, okay, quick lap through the mall, catch anything I think I can find that might be neat, and then go home. So that was fun. I don't know, it's always one of those things where it's weird doing the thing in front of other people. This is just true of creativity in general. This might speak to my own insecurity as a person that's tried multiple instances of this over time. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever, I guess. But I'll get used to it eventually, hopefully. It's just the nature of things. I had to get used to being on camera. And in order to do that, I had to be so zoned that I had to, like, realize as I was as zoned as I was that the nervousness of making the thing was gone, and just go and film the thing and start editing it afterwards, because if I didn't, I wouldn't start it, which means I would never end up doing it. And that's how that one Novembeat retrospective happened at like the end of December. And look where we are now. I'm doing basically a thing per day. I'm trying to put a little bit more thought into these, just because it's more fun to have thoughts to give to camera, I guess, and it will make things a little less boring. So I don't know. I've got two main thoughts right now. The first one is I'll start with the depressing stuff so we can get to the more interesting stuff. I am noticing that a lot of places right now are like half shut down. The mall that has the arcade in it has a second mall across from it that looks essentially defunct. Like there's nothing in it. All the varying doors and everything look like they're all closed. It looks run down. There's a whole bunch of stuff in town that's moving around now, as opposed to doing the thing. The nature of the way, like, work is, what with imminent closures and everything working, is itself its own level of weird. It feels very strange. Everything feels very, still feels very uncertain. But I mean, I've got a project to work on now that will keep me somewhat sane, at least. So, I don't know. That always helps. It's strange because you have to sit there and think about things from a realism perspective. Like a thing that is consistently going on at my job right now is, hey, you can't do the thing where you just assume everything's going to be all right, because there are like 16 permutations of this thing coming out and happening where nobody has a job at the end of it, which is really freaking spooky to think about. Like that's frightening. In my case, it's just like, not again. Not again. I just went through this. But you know, yeah, like you have to face the reality of the fact that things are a bit crazy right now. But also you can't let that get to you, because if it's all just like, hey, everything's terrible forever, then I don't know, that drives you insane, and I can't be doing that right now. So it's weird. I'm once again forced to do that thing where I have to be a forceful optimist, and I have to force myself to believe it, but also at the same time, in this instance, I have to sit there and be like, no, there's also the fact that, like, I have to be aware of the fact that not everything is okay right now. Everything might eventually be okay, but everything's kind of whack all over the place right now. And it's really strange, because doing anything that I don't totally hate right now is looking very tricky. Like, I've got all these audio skills, but everyone's not using that as much. I've got some video editing skills. I've got some other skills. Nobody's really looking for writing right now. And I really don't want to have to do just standard retail, because I already did that, and it drove me insane twice. I don't want to have to go back to freelancing, because I'm not sure I could structure everything on freelancing properly. It was rough doing that for a year as was. It's crazy. It's bizarre. But at the same time, I mean, things are going to get better, hopefully. I have no idea what this is going to look like. I'm trying to put out consistent stuff. But I don't know if any of that's going to go anywhere. Because a lot of it right now I'm still very amateur at. I don't know how to do camera stuff anywhere close to professionally. I have this little action cam, and I've got my iPhone, and I've got my Canon, and that's it. The Canon doesn't allow for external audio, which always makes production pain in the ass. This technically will. Oh, that reminds me. I need to order the mic jack thing for this. But yeah, it's a whole thing, and I haven't done music in a while. I gotta make sure that things aren't allowed to get rusty, and that's going to be strange. That's going to be very, very strange. But yeah, speaking of putting out work, I had a conversation with a friend of mine. I've spoken about her on the channel before because she did the album art for Nightlife, Vanna, and I was reminded of the Ira Glass speech that he gives. I forget what context he gives it in, but I was shown it at one point by a professor in college, and it's a very influential thing, I think, to my current mindset. And that was loud. I don't know if you could hear that. That car startup was very loud. Anyways, Ira Glass. The Ira Glass speech that he gives on point, talking about taste versus skill. And between that and having gotten back into like some of Mike Boyd's older stuff, I don't know, it's one of those things where I'm realizing I just need to start doing things again. This is something good because this will help me learn photography in a way that's just basically brute forcing it. But also brute forcing it is a valid method of learning something. If you just put in time to do things, then eventually you get better at it. That's just a natural way that things work, and I just need to start taking that seriously. Because I keep telling myself, oh, I'm going to learn guitar, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I need to pick a thing and just brute force it for a while. So it's going to be this now. It'll be probably something else later. Whatever that is going to figure that out. And I can like keep rolling with this after I've gotten some stuff going. I might attempt to do the Dice Project over the course of July. We'll see. But for now, I'll be happy if I get through this month, because that's a month of me going out and doing photo-ish stuff, and that means I've brute forced that skill a bit. Will it mean I'm an instant photographer? Obviously not. 10,000 hours and all that. But it'll mean I have some skill in that space that I didn't have beforehand. And that's a good thing, I think. It's going to be the same deal with guitar. If I pick up the guitar and I noodle on it, even if I have no formal training at all, if I pick up my guitar, one of my guitars that I have, and I just noodle on it for like 15 minutes a day for a month, that will mean I am brute forcing that in some way. It will be better if I have a directed thing to be able to do, and I have a couple ideas as to what that might be when I actually go for it. But that's a thing that I can do. I can do the same thing with writing or something like that. I'm thinking about doing the writing thing because I've got a couple story ideas that have had progress made on them internally. As I say internally, as though I've done much like consistent writing on them. I have a lot of outlines. I have a lot of like written down lore. I have a lot of non-written down lore. I just need to actually put proverbial pen to paper and just type it. And it's the same deal. I can brute force a novel or something like that. Like I've done a lot of writing in the past year, but it's not anything that I can publish, either because it's not solid enough, or because in more cases, it's not only mine. It's a lot of collaborative writing with Charles. And I need to work on some of the solo stuff I have just to get something out there. Same deal with like the podcast idea. And I need to bear in mind with that speech that Ira Glass gives. He talks about your taste being killer, but your skill not being caught up to where your taste is. And that's just something I need to remember. It's something I keep having to relearn to be able to recognize that and do that. And that happens every single time you jump medium or you jump a skill set. So I want to do photography. I've seen what good photography looks like. I've seen what Matt Descala has been doing in passing over the years. I've seen what Peter McKinnon's been doing for passing over the years. Matti Haapoja, like all these varying photographers, I've seen what they do because I follow their work and I see their work tangentially on places like Instagram and YouTube and whatever. I know what that looks like. I know what it looks like to do good photography, but my skill at being able to do it myself isn't there yet. And again, the ending of the speech is just you just got to make a lot of work. You got to give yourself permission to make a lot of bad work. But as you just keep making stuff, you get better at it over time. So yeah, brute forcing is just a thing I need to get into my head is a valid method of doing things, because if you're not good at it to start, you're not going to get magically good to start, but you have to suck at it for a while before you get good at it. It's just the nature of the game. It's an exponential curve. Once I start going, it'll take off. And then you'll hit the bump and then it takes off again, but I digress. That theoretically should be everything that I want to talk about for the day. That said, I'm going to sit here and also talk about two non-personal things. I have been listening to Worlds Beyond Number recently, catching up, and oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I don't know if I've ever been like this engrossed in an actual play podcast ever. A lot of this is just because the production value is really, really, really solid, in a really cool way. What is it? Stitch of Fate and Murder, She Rolled, which is really good, by the way. Also, I actually quite like that one for very different reasons. Are very good at like putting in sound design and music and stuff in the background in some quite really cool ways that help make things very immersive. So it takes it from just a bunch of people sitting around a table playing a TTRPG into, hey, there's a joint narrative going on here, and now you can be immersed in the story that's being told. Worlds Beyond Number is fantastic at that. Abria Iyengar is a genius. Lou Reed is the sleeper hit of the podcast, I think, because he starts being like sort of out of the spotlight and not one of the guys to drive a lot of stuff. You've got Erika Ishii's character Ame doing her thing, and you've got Abria Iyengar's character Suvi kind of doing her thing, and their initial like contrast drives a lot of the early stuff that goes on with Lou Reed's Ursulon character kind of being in the background and being the guy that's got like a troubled past, but because of this he kind of has to well, he doesn't have to, but he has a lot of restraint, which is played masterfully. But yeah, I just started episode 14, and episode 13 had me on the edge of my seat pretty much the entire time. And was one of those moments where I'm like, I found my favorite character, it's Ursulon. I really like everyone involved. I know that Brennan Lee Mulligan has a, like, here's how you help DM, here's how you help play D&D, here's how you help play tabletop games. I need to start looking into that, because he is operating on a level that's totally different from everyone else. I've seen, except maybe Matt Mercer and possibly Abria as well, but I've only seen Abria GM once, and I need to catch up on the other stuff that she's done, both because as a player she shows a very A very smart understanding of how to play the game from a narrative perspective. She gets it, like, oh, D&D is both a mechanical thing and a storytelling thing. It is a role-playing game, but also it is a role-playing game. I'm intrigued to see like what her overall GM style does, but I've already stolen the but what you don't see thing from her in a home game, which is quite fun. And but yeah, Brennan's on a whole nother level. And I watched through some of Matt Mercer's initial GM tips, and I need to start pulling from Brennan now, because just the dude's on a whole nother level. It's insane. So yeah, Worlds Beyond Number is great, and it has me inspired to make stuff again. I mean, I said this initially, but yeah, like I keep saying like, oh, I'm inspired to make things, and then I haven't made things other than the current project. But given the current situation, I'll not beat myself up too bad for that, like I normally would. I just need to. I need to keep making stuff. The goal is to keep making stuff. Yeah. Anyways, that's tonight's ramble. I will give you all probably a slightly more coherent ramble sometime midday tomorrow, and it will be in not shitty lighting, I promise, where I'm not sitting in my car and illuminated only by lights because I got back super late. Oh well. Bye. Okay. Gesture control's been turned off, because that's the third time I've had something cut off in the middle of it because I accidentally raised my hand and did this in some way while I was gesticulating, and it shuts the camera off. So today's been a day, so apologize if I sound a little ranty, but I'm going to try and fix that momentarily. I've been continuing on with Worlds Beyond Number, and I got to the end of their first arc, and it made me want to sit there and reflect on things. I also apologize for the noise. I have no place to film right now that isn't noisy in some way. This is, I think, the least noisy. I'm hoping that my recording setup can ignore that somewhat, but we'll see. But yeah, Worlds Beyond Number and Murder, She Rolled, which is another actual play podcast I really enjoy, are both really cool in really different ways, and I want to talk about that a little bit because, I don't know, I get to talk about the nature of what art makes the two pieces of art good, despite them being very different. Worlds Beyond Number is like a masterclass of just collaborative storytelling. You've got 4 world-class storytellers together in one room consistently, putting together a really well-crafted story. The result is one of my favorite podcasts right now. I'm going to kill this bug. So yeah, Brendan Lee Mulligan, Abria Iyengar, Lou Wilson, and Eric Ishii all basically come together and use all of their storytelling insanity and skill and instincts to put together a really well-woven, epic storyline. They play off each other really well, and there's clearly been a lot of effort put into making the setting understood between everyone, making the character directions make sense, making the larger narrative arcs make sense. Like there's been a lot of effort put into this, and it feels extremely well put together, especially when you have the score and the sound design and the production stuff that happens behind everything with the studio that they have hired to do all that. And it's really, really cool, and it's really, really good, and I really, really like it. It's clear everyone's having a blast, but again, everyone's putting in a lot of effort, and it's quite fun. The characters, I think, are probably the thing that sell me on this being a collaborative effort the most, is because it feels like everyone's figured out what roles make the most sense. I mentioned that I think Abria Iyengar is a genius previously, but I think everyone gets a share in that. Abria Iyengar is just perhaps the one that's the most obviously done the thing where she picks a spot that her character wants to occupy in order to help play off of the other characters. But Erica and Lou Wilson have also been doing this really well as well. Because Erica Ishii crafts Ame really well as like this person that's a bridge between worlds. You have Ursulon, who is someone from one world that's trying to inhabit this ideal that that his people don't totally understand, and then you have Suvi. Suvi, I think, was perhaps the thing. There was the character that had the most effort put into it, giving some interesting narrative tension throughout things, given the way Suvi thinks her background being raised on the Citadel. There's some very obvious narrative tension there because on one hand she's very highly attached to her two friends, but also her two friends think very, very differently than she does. And she comes from this more rigid, structured, hierarchical world where things are all about control and science, for lack of a better word. There's a lot of like logic that goes into this. The setting leans into a bit there being a faction in the Empire and the Citadel specifically, and the Azure Battalion that are trying to sufficiently analyze magic so that it can be, used to make the lives of everyone better. And that contrasts with the wild one that Lou Wilson is playing in the form of Ursulon, and the witch, which is a very spiritualized position to be in, especially the way that Erica Ishii plays Ame. It's quite fun, and it's clear that a lot of effort went into it. It's very highly polished. It is perhaps better than Critical Role, if not on par with it. I'll say on par with it. I don't want to say better, because I do really like the kind of worlds that Matt Mercer builds, and then how the rest of the players run around in Exandria in Critical Role. It's a fun way of doing things. And again, that's the reason why Critical Role is so good. You have, they describe themselves as a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors playing D&D, but you have a bunch of voice actors playing D&D. These are people that are used to doing improv, to putting, emotion and effort into all their performances off the cuff, and adapting to things on the fly. And the result is you get a very, very good podcast, because everyone's coming together to do the story thing. Murder, She Rolled is great, but for an entirely different reason, which is that it's completely unhinged. I say completely unhinged, not completely unhinged. Alan Seawright knows what he's doing. Clearly. He's a filmmaker. He has to have some idea as to what makes sense in a given moment. He's usually the one that helps land some of the story beats a little bit. But also, you clearly have a bunch of people that have loosened up a little bit. You've got a couple people that are used to working in TV and such. But you've also got just some folks that haven't done D&D before. Jono from Cinema Therapy is apparently supposed to be on the podcast at some point, and I actually can't wait to see that, because it's going to be one of his first times playing D&D. And he's not quite used to these things. But this is one of those things where their DM, David, also has clearly put a lot of effort into, here's the story of sorts that we're going to try and tell. But you've got a bunch of people at the table that are just sitting there and having fun. It feels like a casual D&D game, where it's less, hey, we're crafting this really big story and we're having you come on the ride for us, and more, hey, we're playing D&D and you're sitting here at the table and having, a laugh with us at the whole thing that we end up doing. And again, very different type of podcast. I think the thing that probably sells it the most is that Alan Seawright apparently still does all the audio mixing and such, I believe. And that does elevate it to the point where, it doesn't just feel like someone stuck a mic in the middle of the table and works, because I've listened to that sort of stuff before, and in some cases it works, in some cases it doesn't. But because you've got everyone kind of loosened up and just going off the cuff all over the place, it's much more chaotic. but it's a lot of fun. And I really, really like how a lot of the existing character relationships have kind of evolved organically as a result of that. You get, what's the term? Emergent order, I think. Where out of seeming chaos you get, certain patterns begin to emerge and take hold and begin to spread out. And that's kind of what's happened here. So you've got some stuff going on between Shona Kay's character, Zippy, and Lucky is starting to be implied. You've got some interesting stuff between Posey and Zippy, between Posey and Lucky. Like all of these relationships between the characters are starting to evolve organically, where they kind of weren't there before because they all met as strangers at the beginning of the campaign, which is still fun. It's still cool because you get attached to the characters along with the players. You find the inherent chaos of everything just as funny as they do. There are a lot of instances where the players will just break character and laugh at a thing that's just happened, that's happened multiple times, but you're laughing along with them. It's fun. It feels very casual, again, except for the fact that Alan Seawright is Alan Seawright and has to go nuts on the sound design. But again, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that elevates the podcast quite a bit, actually. And this brings me to an interesting thing that I've been thinking about recently when it comes to art and making art, which is that art, I used to talk about art being a thing you'd have to make putting in effort. Effort was what made art, right? It's intention. And you have to put effort into it in order to make it make sense. But I've also kind of defended some form of lowbrow entertainment, and I've realized that, I don't know, the intention part doesn't necessarily mean that you have to put in effort. There just has to be an intention, right? You can have something where you're just like, hey, I'm going to casually make a thing, and that's art. And you can have another thing where you can sit there and go, hey, I'm going to put a lot of effort into this, and that will also be art. But, hello, don't know what bug that was. You can have something be made casually or with low effort, but still be art, and also still be good, still be enjoyable, still have meaning. And you can also put a lot of effort into something and still have that be good and have that have meaning. And the end result is that I'm learning to more readily appreciate the fact that you can just make stuff off the cuff and it works. There doesn't always need to be a framework. It can help if there's a framework, but you can take something dumb and goofy and then make it into something cool. And alternatively, you can sit there and set out to make something hyper serious, and that can work too as art. It just matters if, I don't think it even matters if, it just matters that you make it. So, I don't know. I hope that makes sense. Anyways, it's getting dark, and I have to get inside in order to edit the photos for today. So I'm gonna go do that. See you tomorrow. Gotcha, fucker. The bugs really, really fucking like me today, apparently. I stepped outside to go get my photos, and mosquitoes were, like, practically crawling all over me. I have a feeling I'm going to have, like, 5 or 6 new bug bites between today and tomorrow. Anyways, hi. You'll notice a conspicuous lack of vlog from yesterday, despite me having the photos. This is because I grabbed the photos shortly after work. But yeah, yesterday I was super spacey and super tired, so I apparently got home and spent about an hour at my desk attempting to do some editing stuff, and then essentially passed out at my desk for a bit. Like fully just like fell asleep face down on the desk for about 2 hours. At that point I was like, hey, I'm overtired, I should probably get some sleep. Reason for this, I think, being that on the day before that, I basically did the big vlog where I sat there and rambled and raved about Murder, She Rolled and Worlds Beyond Number, and then came up here and promptly was like, oh no, something is wrong, and then was like, I might be dehydrated, and then found out actually it was food poisoning, which took me out of commission for that the rest of that night, which was hell. So yeah, but the good news is that gives you a place to put the freaking title card, so that's where it's going. Anyways, I have about 45-ish minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes before Lancer starts, so I gotta get this done quickly, because I still have to eat as well, so I'm gonna try and make this fast. But this is probably something I'm going to try and make a point to talk about as I go through the project, the DICE project, and the blogging thing over the course of the month, because I've had a couple interactions in a couple different places, a couple on Tumblr, one on Instagram, and an interaction with Gordon of A Shell in the Pit on Twitter, whose work I greatly respect, and also, like, there's been stuff thrown around about, like, Venus Theory put out a couple videos about this sort of thing, and there was a coworker who recommended I read a couple things after Steve Albini died, and it's got me thinking recently that everyone tends to talk about the process. The process tends to be the thing that gets mythologized and gets put to thing. It's like, hi, I'm doing this thing, here's how I did the thing, and therefore why you can do the thing too. Except, I think maybe the process is a bit overblown, because in this one, the process is really simple. It's, hey, I'm going to a place that I think looks neat and putting some dice down and then taking photos of the dice because the dice mark today's date. That's it. That's the process. There's not much to talk about there. What I feel like it's often overlooked is the intent and the making of artistic choices and things. For right now, it's mostly just... It's getting windy outside. For right now, it's mostly me wanting to get unique dice photos for now. And the intent behind it is fairly simple. It's basically the end of the Ira Glass speech that I talked about a couple vlogs, a couple segments ago, a couple days ago, which is essentially... The hell? I just killed a mosquito. I don't know if you can see that. I just killed a mosquito without realizing it. I hate this. I found one in the bathroom this morning. Like, they're everywhere. They're getting inside. They're eating us alive. I hate this. I despise this with every fiber of my being. Oh, that one had... Oh, that's not good. Okay, whatever. It's fine. I'll worry about that later. Where was I? Right, the Ira Glass thing. At the end of that Ira Glass speech, Ira Glass's whole thing is just do a bunch of work, right? You're gonna suck at a lot of stuff. You're gonna make a bunch of crap, but you got to make a lot of the crap in order to get the good stuff. In order for your skill to catch up with where your taste is, so you can make the good stuff that you want to make. And this is literally just me sitting there going, "Okay, I'm gonna try my hand at photography." And this is how I'm going to do it. There's a slight little bit of structure so that I don't have to sit there and be like, okay, what am I going to photograph for today? And then overthink it. It's hard to overthink it when it's just, hey, let's mark today's date with the dice in interesting ways in photos, which means that I have to have dice as my subject and I have to find unique spaces to photograph them in. It's fairly straightforward. It's one of those things where it's easy enough to start out, and then as you move along and you get slightly better at it, it also forces you to get more creative with what you're doing, because you're going to run out of simple spaces to like do stuff with, and you want distinct bits of work over the course of the month. So that's my goal with this. This is the intent behind the work, is essentially just, hey, it's an exercise, and that's about it. Most of the artistic choices are literally, what can I get in a background? What can I have make sense and be a sensible, workable photo set, essentially. And that's going to get more and more interesting as time goes on, as I learn the technicalities of the camera in different ways. And yeah, I think that's about it for now. This is going to be one of those things where, as time goes on, I'll probably be able to talk about the individual reasonings behind each shot as time goes on. In today's case, it was, "Hi, I have Lancer. I'm home from work. I got an hour and 15 minutes to be able to do stuff. So let's get home and get all my stuff inside. That'll take 15 minutes, and then I gotta go outside, and I'll find a space to take the thing for the thing." And, yeah, that mostly is what drove the thing today. It was a shot in the backyard, which I've already technically done once, but in a different way. I think I've done it once. Actually, I might not have. I was going to, and then I didn't. But yeah, it was essentially just, okay, what's a workable background that I can use now that I can then not have to use later? And that's it. The couple other bits I got with the cameras were mostly comparing, hey, I've got the standard kit lens on my Canon, and I've got the wide angle lens on the Ace Pro. I wonder how sky shots compare on those. No, that was it. That's I took a couple things and that's it. So, yeah. I did put out a thing for Bandcamp today. I found it wasn't Bandcamp Friday today, which bites a little bit, but whatever. Yeah, it's mostly just 2 character themes. It's a fun idea though, because I've wanted to do a bunch of stuff based off of the D&D and TTRPG stuff that I've been involved in for a while. I've had a lot of stuff where I've wanted to do stuff that's inspired by that, and I realized it's probably easier to just grab a couple tracks that I have that are basically finished, which is a theme for one of my characters and for Charles's character in the same campaign. I do miss that campaign. I do feel kind of bad about the way in which it fell apart, because I feel like I had a part to play in it by being the one that got all shouty about it. But also it was kind of spinning for a while. It was in the death spiral for a while, I think, unfortunately. Still sad, because I really like the characters involved. I digress. So I've got the 2 character themes up now, and I've just decided it's on Bandcamp. You want to know what I can do? I can just add more songs to it later. So that's what I'm going to do. It's called the D&D Project. I'll have a link to it down in the description. And yeah, it's going to be fairly straightforward as a project. Anytime I decide, hey, I'm going to make a thing based off of a thing that comes from a tabletop thing, the track will materialize on the album. So if you buy it now, you'll eventually be able to download all the other stuff as it keeps getting added onto, and it'll be a sort of like living album that will just get added to, because I'm not sure it's going to be hyper coherent, given that it's going to be involving like 5 or 6 different campaigns potentially. Long and complicated campaigns in some cases too, and some old ones. Like I had an idea for a thing from back when Andril was a character that I played in Pathfinder 1E, and that was literally a decade ago. So I don't know, it'll be fun. So yeah, more stuff will come tomorrow, and tomorrow hopefully I'll be able to go and explore a little bit more, because I won't have work. I'll be able to do things. That said, I do have to run Pathfinder again, and I'm still nervous about that. I don't always feel like my skills as a GM are great, but I'm trying. We'll see how well it goes. Wish me luck. So that's the lens cover dead already, which sucks for many reasons, but it's whatever, I guess, to a certain degree. Oh. So much for that piece of glass. don't know. It's been kind of a nice day. I was very tired, so I ended up sleeping in pretty late, but had to catch up on some editing for the current project, but am currently fixing that, which is good. Got some nice photos out here. We'll probably take some more before I head home. Weather's nice. Tomorrow will hopefully be nice. Lancer was fun. We ended up in another situation where I took the RP ball and ran with it when nobody else wanted to. And the result is I've become the main character of another campaign that I didn't want to become the main character of. Not that I mind having the spotlight for a bit, but I'd rather not just be the only character getting much development. I know in some cases that's because some people are trying to figure out what their instances won, and one guy also had the misfortune of doing everything on a 13-hour day, which sucked. So as well as its own little strange, because right now it's got a bunch of like soon to be built in places, and none of them are fully built in yet, which is weird for a number of different reasons. But yeah, things are what things are. So I came to a conclusion about the thing I was gonna do for Bjorn. I didn't end up actually releasing anything for, I think I mentioned this the other night. But yeah, I was gonna release a thing for Bjorn. I'm still gonna make the track for Bjorn, but I'm gonna cobble everything together in one album. And I'm already thinking about what I'm gonna end up doing on that front. We shall see how everything ends up going. And yeah, the goal is to get some music stuff done this weekend and then fix my LinkedIn. I don't know if I've given my LinkedIn rant to camera yet, but I hate LinkedIn. I hate the way that the current job search has been hyper-corporatized. LinkedIn in particular feels like it is the fakest thing ever. It is the least genuine means of seeing a person, because you are only seeing what they're already trying to put together to put forward for a job. And it's just dumb. It's just bad. You have every incentive to lie. Everything has to be hyper sanitized because everything has to be hyper corporate, and it's all in the service of only doing jobs and stuff. It's the tech bro. It's the tech bro site. As much as everyone likes to make fun of Twitter for being the tech bro site, Twitter isn't the tech bro site. LinkedIn is the tech bro site. And it sucks. And I hate it. I hate having to participate in it. And I hate this has become so normalized. It's stupid. The result is you get a lot of instances where you hire the wrong people for the wrong jobs. And you have to tell yourself, oh, hey, no, according to the thing, it was a good fit. It's not, though. You didn't end up getting to know people well enough. It's stupid, and I hate it. And that'll be probably my rant to the camera for today. Anyways, I'm going to have to order a new screen protector for this thing on top of the microphone bit. I gotta wait for one of my clients to pay me before that happens, but that'll be fine. Well, it's one of two things. Right, let's unlock the door. And, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should be saying more, but I don't have as much to say. Yeah. I'm gonna go take another couple photos and then be done, get out of here, go home, probably grab some food on the way home, and then sit down and edit and do a bunch of other stuff. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have something more coherent and cogent to say. Cheers. So we're at that point where I am outside chilling against my car because reasons. I came out here because I wanted to take a photo while like the sun was kind of setting, the moon was coming up, and neither of my cameras can do a great job at catching that image, which bites. But I digress. I don't know. I'll talk briefly about it, I guess. We started Pathfinder with my siblings again today, which was fun, but I'm always really nervous being on the other side of the DM screen. And part of that is because it's me making all of the story choices, but it's also because I've dealt with the fact that most of my experience with GMing has been watching pro GMs be pro GMs, and I can't do that yet because I don't have practice. So panic happens, but it's fun. I believe everyone's having a fun time, or at least they're telling me they are. And I'm having a fun time running things, even if it feels like I'm that one scene from Wallace and Gromit where I'm putting down all of the tracks as I go. That's it. I have an actual plan this time, so it's a little less of that than it used to be with the Pathfinder campaign, but it's still something. We will see how things progress. It's very interesting being a GM versus being a player. There's an interesting duality there, because as a player, it's one of those things where, like, you do feel like the GM maybe knows more than they're letting on, and as a GM, the players expect you to know everything, and there's that moment where you're like, if I let the curtain drop at all, oh no, they'll think I'm a fraud. And again, panic sets in, but it's fine. I'm getting used to it. Really basic photo today, just because I needed a really basic photo. And there's not much else to talk about on that front. So, yeah, work begins tomorrow. This weekend was extremely draining, but also kind of necessary because I needed some time to relax. So we shall see how things go. Tomorrow is going to be another instance of everything being very tiring because Mondays are long days. But I don't know. It could be better, could be worse. I'm stuck at a place where I don't care nearly quite as much. Shrug. That's all I've got for today. I'll have a longer rambly thing either tomorrow or Tuesday probably, because I'll have opinions on things. But for now, today has been a lot of running the Pathfinder game, resting, recuperating, catching up on editing the thing, the like. So yeah, I'm gonna take out the trash because it's Sunday, and that means that tomorrow morning is trash night, and head inside and finish editing the vlog. Cheers. So yeah, again, another day where yesterday there was no vlog. I don't know what the hell happened, but all I know was I basically got home and some minor back stuff, but it wasn't actually like an actual back injury like before. And then nausea, threw up once, threw up a second time way later into the night. Couldn't fucking sleep just due to sheer discomfort. Whatever. Threw up a third time at around like 5:30 a.m. And a couple times I took a shower in between that to try and like just get some heat there. I eventually just drew a fucking bath, laid in the bath. Felt not great, but it helped. And then I think I fell asleep in there for like about an hour and a half before anybody else woke up. But it was bad enough where I was like, I should probably go to the ER the second like someone wakes up and can drive me. And then after I woke up from the freaking bath, I was just like, feel fine now. Very tired. But so I have no idea what this is. So I called out of work again. That's gonna suck because I have no more sick days left. Which means either I need to take a vacation day, which I really don't want to do for like 80 different reasons, or just not get paid for the day. I'm probably going to end up working from home again tomorrow. I've only got the one dice photo. I took it on my desk because I've been sitting in my room quarantining to make sure that if I do have anything that is contagious, I don't spread it to anyone else. So, yay. That was miserable. But yeah, so past week has been rough. Just like life to stop kicking me in the dick. That'd be great. The good news is my Around Square stuff arrived early, so I don't know. I might do a thing where I unbox that. We'll see. I might make a choice. I might not. We'll see. All right. Around Square box came. Let's see what's in it. Ah. One of the things I always like about Around Square is that, I don't know if you can see that, but they give you they've given me a handwritten note every single time I've ordered something from them, which I really like. That's an easy way for me to get, that's an easy way for me to end up liking what you're doing. These are nice. These are just essentially handkerchiefs, bandanas, whatever you want to call them. I picked up the two non-patterned ones because I already have the patterned one over here, which I use constantly for carrying stuff in my pocket, and it's super nice, and always have carrying one of these on. These I actually picked up because I needed a set of plain ones for some photography stuff, potentially in the future, and some filming stuff in the future. On one hand, they're $5 each, but on the other hand, I don't know. I don't know. These always feel better than like the hyper cheap ones I end up picking up for like $4 or $5 from anyone else. So, and again, I like this company, so I figured, hey, why not? So that's good. This should be cords. That's great. I'm going to be using that soon. That's also fun. I am probably going to redo a couple of my Beglaria with the cotton cord, specifically my Kusunoki set. This is deliberately meant for... Do I have it over here? My desk is a mess right now, so do forgive me. Oh, here they are. This guy right here. This is a MK Ultra. This is one of the ones where they have the smaller beads and then a larger bead over here, so you can sit there and do some fancier flippy tricks and whatnot in the space. I like this. I actually am still unsure if I even want to redo this using this cord, which is what I bought this for. Just because like this hasn't seen much wear and tear at all. I don't know if you can see any of this. Come on, camera. Come on, focus. Might not be able to focus, it's a bit too close. But yeah, this hasn't seen much wear and tear, but I kind of wanted to redo it with this just for the sake of the color, so it breaks things up a little bit and it looks cooler. So I'll be working on that later. This is going to be interesting. I bought 2 of these, mostly because I want one. And then I have a second one in here that is going to Charles. Ooh, I like this already a lot. I have one of their standard spuds. I have 3 of their standard spuds, actually. I intended to pick them up for juggling, and slowly worked until life fell apart. I should actually get back into that. This is nice. This was intended, this was what their unknown was on the site for the most recent product drop. And this is apparently it, but in suede, and in navy blue at that. It's nice and squishy. I don't know, I like it. I'll go back in there. This here should be my... Ah! There we go. Alright, so these are the Newton cords, I believe. Which are nice, and immediately coming off the string because I got them not as their own separate thing. There's something to go with these. Yeah. Alright, so I already have a set of these, actually, but my initial set was not sent to me with this and this. My initial set was sent to me with 2 instances of this black and purple one, which I actually really, really like. And the question was whether this was going to be like this, or whether I was going to get another instance of 2 beads on the same thing. I actually am going to then take... I got sent a spare thing of the Kevlar cord, so I'm going to take that. Where is the thing? It's got to be around here somewhere. Again, my desk is a disaster. You can't see how disastrous my desk is because the camera is off to the side of all of the disaster, but it's fine. It's gotta be over here somewhere. I officially don't know where the thing is. Come on. Please let me find the thing. Oh, is it? It's probably in... Oh! I saw it there for a minute. Here it is. So this was my original set. And I'm actually just gonna fix this right now. There's this thing, these have been... Ah! So yeah, these things ship with these cores in between them. So these outer shells here are, I believe they're just anodized aluminum. They're either anodized or PVD aluminum. I forget precisely how they do it. They've got a fade on them of some sorts. These are, as you can see, these shells are a little beat up because I was using the hell out of these when I first bought them. But the fun part is now I can slot these together. And I've got these as a new set. And these on their own, these will probably go, I don't know, somewhere. I'll figure something out to do with them. But, yeah, I'll just slot these together. And so now I've got 2 sets of Everyman's, which is fun. Ooh, these have a little bit of extra hefty weight to them now, actually. I quite like this. I've actually since come around quite a bit to the tassel side of things, where you kind of cut your knot and then you just let them fray a little bit and you got some tassels on the end. I actually have come to quite like those, both because my favorite methods of stringing stuff up don't let you melt stuff anymore. I'm not using paracord as my only form of stringing up Big Larry, but yeah, I quite like the way these are set, actually. With the new inserts, these are neat, actually. I've been wondering about trying one for a while. Yeah, these will be nice to have as an old version, actually, because I can already tell these are going to play substantially differently with the 2 inserts. All right, last thing. This is the one that I was a little bit shaky on because I don't know what my ring size is for most of my fingers. Ooh. Oh, hang on, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if that's immediately obvious that that's in there. I am having a hard time keeping this thing focused, but yeah, there's an etched a round square mark in there. Does this fit? Okay, it doesn't. Which means this goes on that finger. There are a couple different fingers I can fit this on that'll work, but I quite like that, actually. That's quite nice. I am the dude that sits there and wears like 6 rings. Well, not 6 rings, but I do the hefty jewelry thing now, which is a thing that apparently not many other people I know do. But yeah, if they ever make one of these in like a black metal or anything like that, I will see if they have a like size like 13 or 14 or whatever to fit this, and that'll be my new ace rank. But I don't think it's gonna be the case for a while. All right, well, that's all pretty neat. Oh yeah, and I got a sticker. That's a pretty cool sticker. I don't know. I should see if I can maybe throw my hat in the ring on the whole like logo design thing they've been doing, because they've been doing a lot of fun logo design stuff from some of the community, and it might be fun to be able to throw my hat in the ring. But yeah, for now that's what I got. It's a pretty nice little haul. I do like a lot of what these guys are doing. I do feel kind of bad because the one thing I would be mad at them for, I can't actually be mad at them for, and it's not even bad, it's more frustration, which is just that their Ultim stuff sells out instantaneously, And Matt, the guy that basically runs Around Square, has noted that they've tried to stack up for the past like 3 Ultem launches to account for it, and things still sell out before it even goes to the public because there's just too many people going absolutely rabid for Ultem materials. They literally cannot keep up. So I have a total of 1. Technically, I have 2 Ultem things from them. 3 actually. I have their 12 mil thing, but I've got a 12 mil Comboloy here, and I've got one of their Nowhere planks in Ultem, and I have one of the Titanium and Ultem sets from this, which I do quite like. It's actually one of my favorite like small bead sets, aside maybe from the Micro Bosses I have. But like, yeah, they came out with a 14 mils Mala set and their like long form Comboloy like this with larger beads, and I really wanted a set. I was gonna get 2 sets of Mala, one for me, one for Charles, and that didn't end up happening because I got in 2 minutes after the password was supposed to work on their site, and everything was already sold out. So I can't really be mad. These just means they're suffering from success, which is a good thing because that means that they're doing well for themselves. And Matt has expressed frustration at this, not because of like any kind of bad press or anything like that, but because he doesn't like that people are upset that they can't get a hold of the things they want. He wants to be able to build a community, which is, you know, he's looking at doing this from a sustainability perspective, and that already means he has my respect, because a lot of places are just like, oh, just build, grow, expand endlessly, and it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I get that you do want some growth, but Matt's looking at making this sustainable, because it's yeah, I don't know. Sustainability and that sort of thing is something that if that's your top priority, you instantly have me sold, because it means that you're not looking to keep growing infinitely and then sell out the second things don't end up, you know, tripling or whatever in growth. Meanwhile, you end up making, like, this is a really nice chunk of steel, and you've got the word mark in it and everything. Like, this is one of my favorite pieces I think I own, is the ring they did with Luzumaki. Like, you don't get shit like this from companies that half-ass things. This stuff feels well made. It's been consistent. I don't think I've had anything of theirs break on me that's not been user error. I'm not counting that one time because that was user error. So yeah, no, this is fun. I am hoping that they'll be able to restock some of the Ultem stuff, because I really want some of the Ultem stuff, but that hasn't happened yet. In the meantime, I'm quite happy with what I got this time. Yeah, time to get to a point where I can sit down and just tie a lot of snake knots. It's gonna be snake knot tying time. I gotta take measurements and take care of that. So I'm feeling significantly better today, to a degree. I ended up working from home again just to make sure that I could be like safe and not getting the rest of my coworkers sick. That said, apparently my job has potentially wasted half a day's worth of vacation time on me, because the stupid app that we use, which I've always hated, uses a like geopositioning thing to determine that you're actually at your job when you punch in. Which, aside from being a potential privacy concern on my part, is also a thing where I was like, yeah, that's not going to work consistently enough. I was an avid Pokemon Go player. I know how shoddy GPS is. Lo and behold, it's been doing this. It's done this more than once, where it's just straight up dropped punches that I've made. And it did so last week, and I didn't catch it. And on the day I was violently ill, yesterday, they tried to reach out to me HR tried to reach out to me only by email. Didn't bother actually attempting to call me at all, and they have my number, and I know they do. And then proceeded to sit there and just be like, oh, we didn't hear anything back from you, so we're going to fill that in with your vacation time. And I'm like, okay, well, now I've gotten back to you, now that I'm, like, up and sane. And I've not heard anything back about being able to fix that. Like, that's just stupid. I hated it, this place. This place seems like it is designed to screw you over with the way that, like, HR and upper management is structured. And unfortunately, Samson's still tied to all of that. If it weren't, then it would probably go a lot better, but it's still tied to all of that, so things just kind of suck on that front. Regardless, I got a couple extra pictures today, and I should hopefully be back into work tomorrow, so I'll actually be out and about to be able to take photos tomorrow, hopefully. That'll be fun. That'll be nice to be able to go outdoors again. I so wish I had a job that just wasn't shit. And yet, lo and behold, every single job I've had so far has been shit in some way, shape, or form. I dislike this. Actually, that's not totally true. Working for Riverside and some of the freelance clients I have are actually fairly solid. Rich is a solid guy. I do freelance editing for Fern. Fern is quite nice. And I can't be too mad at her for being, like, slipping the schedule a little bit given her current life scenario. And Riverside Digital was fine up until it got to the point where, like, crunch set in super hard. And it was one of those things where I don't think I was the only editor that left over that, but it was one of those things where, like, between my computer starting to die and the fact that I was working a full-time job, and Ross had at this point become aware of it, and then Ross threw what was essentially a full-time editor's worth of work at, I think, every single editor, because one of the textbook things was a thing. This is the way I remember it, at least. I might be misremembering it. This was like 8 years ago, and Lord knows COVID's clearly done things to my memory. I confused Shure and Rode the other day, thinking that Shure was the Australian mic company when it's not. But yeah, like, that was the only reason I ended up leaving that freelance gig. But, like, working at Ash has been shit. Working at Samson has been annoying because I got there and then promptly everything started shutting down, and then all of the problems with Ash were the only thing that kept running. Yeah, this sucks and I hate it. But whatever. Moving on tomorrow, hopefully, to the beginning of a new start. And then we're going to have the really confusing part where for 2 weeks, the guy that hired me at the job I currently have is going to have left, which means I don't even know who my boss will be at that point, let alone what I'm supposed to be doing at that job. Oh boy. See you tomorrow. I hope these windscreens actually work. Yeah, I don't know. Just feel a little on edge today, and that's mostly because a lot of things have fallen by the wayside due to me being sick, and everyone seems to have ignored the part where I was like, hey, on Tuesday I was violently ill. And also that, like, a couple specific people seem to be acting in the minority when it comes to what they end up expecting of me in certain social situations compared to literally everyone else I ever interact with, which is a thing, but whatever. Yeah, very basic photo today. I didn't end up going anywhere to explore today because I'm still at the point where I'm like, hey, I'm still kind of recovering. I don't want to go too many ridiculous places. I drove out here with the intention of grabbing photos, and that ended up not happening. Just because I didn't find any place that made sense, and I was just like, it's maybe best to just not go too nuts on that. So I'll probably end up doing some around square shots or something like that later today. Tonight, whatever. So yeah. In going through my around square stuff the other night, I found these, which are my aluminum auroras, which I like quite a lot. And I'm remembering how much I actually like these. Initially, I remember picking these up and going, oh, these were a bad investment, but, like, whatever, they were only like $35, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And then finding out that I had my cord length wrong. And then since restringing them, I've liked them a lot. I do like the titaniums better, but these are nice because they have a nice light sling to them. They're also a little shorter and a little fatter than the standard titaniums, but they're fun. They have their own little, they've got a nice playful feel to them. And they're blue. So yeah, I'm hitting the point where I'm honestly, I mean, I've got all the varying anxieties going on, but from a perspective for this vlog, I'm hitting a point where I'm like, okay, cool, what do I keep doing in order to go out and get photos? Like, I was doing on for a strong start, and then got violently ill, and the results from that were that thing where I hit a wall, and, like, I barely managed to stumble through it because I technically got photos for each day. But only barely, and that means that I have to find a means of starting again, to start doing interesting... the mosquitoes even like my windshield. What is up? But yeah, I have to find a new means of like finding interesting photos without ending up with an incident like at the library where I get told, hey man, you can't be here, you can't be doing that. Which I'm still a little miffed about that because I swore there was no sign. I would have missed a sign otherwise. And I was looking to see if there was one, and as far as I could tell, there wasn't. But I digress. So yeah, music stuff is probably going to happen this weekend, barring any nonsense. That said, Saturday already looks like it's going to get hijacked as usual. I really dislike the fact that feels like all of what would be my free time is spent either struggling to actually do the stuff I want and or need to do, setting up for stuff I need to do later, which then ends up becoming irrelevant later because of whatever, or doing stuff elsewhere that I get told to get done that I don't have the ability to actually like do stuff with. It's one of the reasons why I think my my room is currently an absolute disaster, because I was gonna start redoing it and then got stopped halfway through, and then I haven't found the momentum to be able to pick back up where I left off and finish rearranging it and fixing everything. I don't know. It's just like there's just a lot to juggle, and then it feels like everyone else is like, well, I also have a lot to juggle. And I say not everyone, a few specific people, again, I will point out. A fair amount of my friends are actually very, very sympathetic and supportive, but yeah. Anyways, I don't want to be too negative about stuff, so I'm not going to be any further. I don't know if I'll need to talk about anything tonight, other than, yeah, the photos thing has lost an odd amount of momentum, and I need to get better at figuring out exactly what the hell I'm going to do and find some places around town, around nearby, that I can go and explore. I also need to get over my, odd fear of being seen doing photography and filming and stuff in public. Because in a lot of cases, it's mostly just me doing stuff here in my car or here in a space where I don't think I'll be found. But also, I don't know, I can be filming stuff in public and people will kind of have to just be dealing with that, I guess. It's how it works for everyone else. I don't know why it doesn't work that way for me, but my brain doesn't let me get over the fear of being judged, which is why I have the whole imposter syndrome thing, which is not helping me in my current job search thing either right now, not just the creative side of things. So, anyways, I said I wasn't going to be negative. I'm not going to be negative. I'm going to end this on a positive note. What positive note am I going to end this on? Could talk about a couple positive things, actually. I don't want to just ramble about Worlds Beyond Number, though, because I've done that in 4 or 5 vlogs. Ah, beans! I probably could talk a little bit about, I don't think I could do that coherently. This is already turning into a mess. Yeah, I'm just gonna kick it off and be done here. And tomorrow's vlog will hopefully be much less angsty and whiny. This means I don't have to mow tomorrow. Also, I just like the rain. So much rain. All of the rain. Anyways, long story short, if you can hear, ooh, that was lightning. That away. Anyways, so long and short of things is, took a photo in my car earlier, knew exactly this was going to happen because the weather's been saying it's going to be happening all day, and took a bunch of around square photos upstairs in my room again because I really like the ones that came out last night, and Matt of Around Square liked a lot of them, and that was cool. So I did some more just because it's fun, and also because if I can't go exploring, I have to find something else to shoot just to stay in practice. So I did that instead. Whoop. That's a rabbit. Yeah, this entire section of the street right here is like water. Is that another rabbit? That's another rabbit. I wonder how bad it is underneath the tree. Hello, rabbit. Don't mind me. Yeah, it's a thing. Anyways, I should stop being out here and fucking around and get inside and play Lancer. So I'm gonna go do that. Whoop. I saw that one too. Oh, that one's actually relatively close. Yeah, getting inside now. Today's been a weird day. I don't know. Lancer last night was odd. I had my issues with the combat scenario, but I think the main issue is that I let other life stuff that was happening get to my head and be hyper grumpy. And then I was like, hey, like, I'm sorry for being grumpy, but I will leave. And then I came back and was still being grumpy about it, despite trying to explain why I didn't like the things I didn't like about the combat. And it's just, it feels like there's been a lot of cases where the folks maybe aren't getting me, but also I can't help if I'm just being toxic because things went more sideways than I wanted, and the whole thing's just a mess. And I do feel bad about it because I feel like I'm being kind of a jerk because, like, the DM's been doing a lot of work in order to make this campaign make sense, but also I don't know, it felt like a slog fest. It wasn't fun, and I keep getting told things that make me think like I have to power game, like I have to min-max in order to play Lancer. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to pick stuff that I think is neat and looks cool and lets me, you know, build the sort of character I want to build, and then run the character and do something that has my character do things, be character-centric, interact with the other characters. And I haven't quite gotten that, and part of me wonders if that's just like I went into this with all the wrong expectations and I was like missing the signals, or like part of me is like, oh, you were sold the wrong thing. But something's bugging me about this all just being something that I'm not doing. And, like, Charles is like, oh yeah, this also feels like the same way. And I don't know, I don't want to have a first bad experience with Lancer. Lancer feels like something I would actually like a lot. It just feels like maybe the early stuff isn't hyper beginner friendly or something, or I don't know what it is. And, like, balancing stuff is hard. Like, I've been on the other side of this, and balancing stuff is hard, so I can't just sit there and be like, oh, you're balancing things incorrectly. And I already feel bad about this, because I had a history of snapping at this one particular GM as well in a previous 5e campaign for similar reasons, and that was back when he didn't know what he was doing, and he clearly does know what he's doing now, more or less. It's just, I don't know, I like the guy. I feel like I'm giving him too much of a hard time, but also it's like this is the second time in 4 combat encounters where I went into it with certain expectations, and the result was not that. And one of them was just bad luck. It was just bad dice rolls, and the fact that Lancer's expectations of win and catastrophic wins and losses are very different from how they are in literally any other TTRPG I've played, which is actually pretty neat in its own way. But also, going into the recent one, I don't know. I don't want to keep rambling about it, because otherwise, like, it feels like I'm dwelling on it, and I don't want to dwell on it, because that'll lead to more actual active toxicity, and I don't like that. Oof, ow. I got some decent photos today, but they're small. Only like 3 of them, but they're all color studies, essentially, which is interesting. I've realized that maybe I should do the thing I did in January, where I sit there and I pick a theme for each week. So for the next 2 weeks, like, I should pick a theme and start doing that. I also think I'm going to do, the next week is probably going to be all in monochrome, except for the dice photos. And because I said I was going to do that when my friend Matt said to do that, and then proceeded to not do that for a bunch of different reasons, mostly because it was a pain to, or it wasn't even a pain, I just kept forgetting to switch the camera off of color every single time I took a dice photo. So I should actually get used to intentionally setting it to monochromatic and doing stuff that way. That way this thing's the only thing that's shooting color. Yeah, but like pick a thing. So it's gonna be probably the Canon with the Nifty 50 for the next week, just to do it. That's gonna be all the spare stuff. Someone is setting off fireworks, and it's not even July yet, guys. Come on. Whatever. But yeah. So, some photos for the day. It's midway through. Yeah. Charles is waiting for me, so I'm going to go inside and grapple with all of this later, hopefully. And hopefully tomorrow will turn out better, because it'll be a lot of hanging out with family in a nice way. So, yeah. Inside I go. So, yeah, I don't know. Today's been a fun day so far. Hope the wind doesn't make this audio completely unusable. But it's pool season. Pool season's always fun. Over here my grandfather opens up his pool for us all to start jumping into. And we had a fun time so far. It's also the reason for my hair being all wacky. So yeah, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for the thing, but I've settled on the photography thing for next week, which means starting tomorrow, it is gonna be cars cars are so damn noisy, man. Anyways, yeah, so I've settled on the settings for the camera thing for next week, which means it's going to be Canon using the 50mm f1.8 in monochrome for pretty much the entire day, and I'm going to attempt to do as many outdoor shots as possible. Just to try and make that happen. Any indoor shots I'll do with this thing. And then next week I'm going to try and reverse that a little bit. So, yeah. I picked up Steel Hearts last night, and I've been slowly giving the TTRPG a read through, and it's interesting if, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, there's no roll to hit, except there is also a number of hits that you get, and that determines things. So it runs on a very different system so far, at least from what I have. I've barely gotten through some of the rules. Seems interesting. I do want to give it a shot, especially given the nature of the way it contrasts Lancer pretty heavily. And I would like, at some point, to make, I don't know, make a Lancer something happen. I want to give something a shot where I can see if I can run Lancer without tweaking the rules in the way that I would like to run Lancer. So we'll see how that goes. I hope this works. The good news is I have windscreens this time. But yeah, I guess short story is I went exploring today and I started doing the black and white photo thing, and I immediately switched away from using the prime lens just because I couldn't get enough shots within frame. So I'm going to save that for shooting next week when I go back to shooting in color for a bit. But yeah, I got a couple nice shots, and D&D is fun. We did some D&D stuff tonight. My brother had that thing where he's like, hee, these weird teleporting dogs are cool. And then there was that moment where he's like, oh, they're like dogs. Oh, they just killed the displacer beast. Oh, they're displacer beasts on the other. Oh no, I have to go over there. I'm only level 3. There's just one of me. Those things are bad. And it just was this fun moment where it's like, oh, the next session and a half is going to be like stealth survival horror, which I'm hoping I can pull off properly, but I think it's going to be very fun. Yeah, I don't have much else right now. I'll probably do another long, rambly, vloggy thing at some point tomorrow, because Worlds Beyond Number is very good, and also because I'm going to be getting back into music. It's going to be a long, rambly thing either tomorrow or Thursday, it depends on a lot, because, yeah, I'm going to be doing music again for the first time in like 2 months, which is a thing I was really hoping wasn't going to happen this year, but it's better than like the usual, like, I don't know, 3.5 month gap in most instances after November, January. I can words. I know things. I'm very tired. Anyways, yeah, that's all. That's it. See y'all tomorrow. Chickens. How are you doing, chickens? I'm still not quite sure what to make of me, I think. There's no thing. I'm a guy. Happens to be around. Sorry, I don't got leaf clippings for you. It's not Saturday. This one's gonna be quick just because it was a busy day. I got the one shot indoors and shot an around square thing, and that is basically the extent of today. So you get a 20-ish second vlog thing where I just point out that I was very tired today. I probably look very tired. So that's all for now. I'm going to do more tomorrow stuff, except also maybe not, because I also want to do some music stuff tomorrow so that I can actually catch up on some of the music things I've been meaning to do that I haven't been able to do yet. So that's the thing. Anyway, that's all. Good night. Bye. Alright, I'm gonna make this real quick, but I got a new microphone and realized that I had a mic adapter for this now, which I have been not using this entire time, and I feel like a freaking moron about that. So I'm gonna do some things with that and some experimenting with that over the weekend. I also need to get the cold shoe case for this, so I'm going to go actually order that. It was freaking hot out yet again, and it's going to be hot out again tomorrow, and so I'm going to probably do another set of indoor stuff like I did today. And that's it. I will try and be more coherent tomorrow, but my current employment status is in an odd space because my company, the company that I work for, got purchased, and we might all still have our jobs, but we don't know for certain. It's complicated. It's complicated. Once things like settle a little bit, I'll have more ability to speak on it. But for now, this is it for now. Bye. Alright, so I'm using the Rode thing, which is what this is, to try and record audio. And today was weird. There was a lot of, I'm actually going to take this off because it's actually playing stuff and it's distracting. Hang on. I am sitting down to edit the photos for tonight. This cowlick has been bugging me all day. I need a haircut. There, you will probably see me with a haircut after this weekend. Anyhow, I am sitting down to edit stuff real quick before Lancer happens, and today was weird. We had a lot of people that were still, like, panicky about the stuff going on at work. It's very weird. I just like how existential everything's got. I would like some sense of stability, but we'll see how that goes over the course of the next week or so. Yeah, I took a couple photos, and by a couple I literally mean like two. I think there's the dice photo and then one other photo just to sit there and add something else in. I have failed the black and white challenge again, so I'm going to probably try that maybe next week, if I give it a shot at all. I keep shooting stuff in monochrome, and then the raw turns out, in color, which is weird, because then I have to edit it back down to black and white, and it does the whole thing, and it's weird. I would like it to be a setting where I could also have it be in black and white in the raw file, but I don't know how to do that yet, so I'll figure that out later. Yeah. Next couple days are going to be very weird. I've got a Pathfinder thing tomorrow, I've got drum teching on Sunday, I have to fit a remix in there somewhere, and I've got a bunch of other shit to take care of, as well. So we'll see how all that goes. In the meantime, enjoy these two photos. So I just lost a rather insane game of Ticket to Ride to Europe. But that was fun still, so that was cool. Yeah, couple of photos real quick, but they were mostly in a rush, mostly because there's people over. Um, yeah, I'm still very behind on the music thing that I want to do, but part of that is just there's so much going on. I'm really hoping I'll be able to do something. If I can't finish the remix, I will try not to beat myself up over it too much. But we shall see. I got the very beginnings of something going. I just need to actually make the rest of the remix. So we'll see how that goes. Knowing me, I will make that happen like Wednesday evening, because Thursday's all packing to go up north, and Friday is Lancer. So we'll see how things go. Yeah, I can and should at some point talk about how much fun the most recent Lancer session was, but I will do that at a different point when it's not midnight and I'm not trying to do all of this in a rush. So that's all for today. So I did it, kind of. I only managed to do one bit of actual music-y stuff. I haven't done the second one yet. The collaboration with Pasta and Twilight. That's not the time-sensitive one. I did the thing where I put together a stupid remix of a thing for Ben in 3 hours. And it worked, which means I might be able to actually catch up on editing over the course of tomorrow night and pack on Thursday. So, yeah. I did a lot of macro photography these days. At some point when I get a new camera, I want to get an actual proper macro lens, because the one I have is like this bolt-on, like, Polaroid thing that goes over top of an existing lens, and while it's theoretically cool, it's one of those things where you can kind of see the warping at the edge of the lens. So, yeah. I got a really nice shot with it today, though, so we'll see. I don't know. It's fun getting all the artistic shots on the desktop, but I so wish it would be just slightly less hot, so I could like go outside and not feel like I'm burning alive half the time when I go anywhere. That would be great. That'd be great. That'd be wonderful. Anyhow, time for me to sleep, and time for tomorrow to happen, where I'm going to meet the new owner of the company, and we're going to see if I still have a job. And, yeah, from there, I'm going to choose to not care about things as much until I get back from up north. So, yeah. That's whatever. I gotta survive 2 days. I gotta survive 3 days technically, but Friday doesn't count because Friday is Lancer Day. I gotta get shit done in 2 days, and then I'll be fine. I have no idea what I just did, but that just caused the camera to do something. I forget that gesture controls are on this thing again because I tested out the mount in my car, and they kind of work. Well, no, they work. Two of the mounts are designed to do two things. One is designed to go out and take shots through the windshield, and the other one is designed to face inwards and face me. And I've got another one that is slightly canted so that it can hit me and someone else that's sitting next to me in the passenger seat. And they both work fine, but I turned on gesture control to try and test that earlier and forgot to turn it off. So I hope that didn't do anything stupid. Anyhow, good night. I'll see you all tomorrow. So I almost forgot to actually do the vlog for today. I got a couple nice shots today. I intended to do some stuff. Wow, I really need a haircut. I'll probably get a haircut Friday morning. But yeah, I got through enough editing that I think I can manage between that and packing tomorrow that I'll have a mostly completed vlog, which means that when I actually get up to Charles's place, I can set the stuff up and then do the rendering of the video and the uploading and everything there, which will be great. And I got the remix for Ben done, which means I did a music project that I was supposed to do, which is great news for me personally, given that I've been feeling like I've been kind of stuck in a rut, and being able to do that, I did the stupid thing where I did it in however many hours, and I feel good about that, but I've gotten close enough on editing, and yeah, things are kind of looking up at the job situation, but we'll see how that actually ends up going. It's still all very nebulous. I dislike how nebulous it is. I really need a fucking haircut. I'm gonna... There's gonna be one of these videos or something that's going to be like, what happened to his hair? Which would be really funny. We're gonna see... I'm gonna go pay a visit to the Carl Place Sam Ash tomorrow. Partially because the prices are actually low enough that there's a couple things I might actually want to buy there. And also because I have a couple friends that are still working there. Some guys I knew from Huntington that I would consider more than just coworkers at this point. I would say that they were friends. So yeah, gonna do that tomorrow, and hopefully finish this editing and get everything packed. I gotta pick a kit to bring up with me to Charles's place, or at least maybe like 2 kits. I think I know what one might be, but I have no idea what the second one I'm gonna want to take is, because I have a lot of options, because I haven't built anything in a while, and I want to fix that. I so want to have some free time again, but yeah, I'll make it happen. But one thing at a time. I'm like this close to the finish line. This close. If I can get across the finish line, I can start worrying about the other stuff. So I'm gonna go do that now. In the meantime, I should sleep, because way later than I should be up right now. And I'm feeling that, so I'm gonna just do the sleep thing. Yep. Bye. So, I haven't gotten as far along in editing as I want to, but I still have a bit of time in order to take care of that. So I'm going to do as much of that as I can. I went to the Sam Ash in Carl Place, and it is depressing as hell over there, man. It's so depressing. I hope everyone's able to move on from that once it finally closes, but yeah. Yeah, some basic photos. Mostly spent the time packing. I completely goofed and thought that today was the 26th again, still, and that tomorrow was the 27th, which means that tomorrow would have been my mom's birthday. It was today, which means I totally didn't get that until I'd made a like slip of sorts socially, and she was like, a happy birthday would have been nice, and I was like, oh shit. So that sucked. That's embarrassing, and I will probably never live that down. There are too many damn birthdays. My family's had so many birthdays, and I keep losing track of whose is when precisely, and my sense of time so far has been really bad, despite the fact that the entire point of the project that I'm currently doing is to demarcate the days using dice every day. So yeah, that's that. Tomorrow is see cousins, do Lancer, finish packing, and then be ready to go up north. Oh, and I picked up 2 things. What was that? Sam Ash. I picked up a microphone, which I might be using in future video projects, depending on what I do to get stuff set up. And I got I got a T8. So yeah. I'm gonna go do what editing I can in the next like half hour, 45 minutes or so, and then go to sleep, and I'll see you all tomorrow. So yeah, remember that part where I mentioned I was going to look completely different? I actually don't know why I have these on. They're connected to my phone, and I'm not listening to anything. But yeah, short hair, shaved, heading on the road tomorrow. So very brief photo thing, and then a bunch of packing, and then I'm headed on the road tomorrow. I also managed to catch up on editing everything, which is quite nice. I'm not fully caught up technically. There's a bunch of stuff that's on here that I have to get off of here onto the computer. But I'm going to be doing that once I get to Charles' place, and that's going to be easy because the past couple segments have been relatively short. I have a feeling that the vlog bit that I'm going to be doing while on the road is going to be a bit longer, so that might actually take a little bit of editing, but it'll be fine. Lancer didn't happen tonight, but I think that's a good thing because I was able to focus on packing and because I was able to essentially focus on some other stuff. I don't know if I would have been fully in the headspace for it, so we'll see. People are, by people I mean the GM, is trying to see if we can delay until Sunday. And we're going to have to see if that plays out for a number of different reasons. I'm hopeful, but we'll have to see. In the meantime, I'm going to stop blabbing, and I'm going to go to sleep and then get on the road in the morning. And that's going to be a point where you're probably going to be hearing from me quite a bit, because I will have this camera, and I'll be on the road, and I'll probably be stopping a couple times. And also, there will probably be points where it'll be me and Charles on camera, so that'll be fun. So, yeah. Good night, and see you tomorrow. Alright. We are heading on the road to go see Charles. It's a bit of an overcast day, which is good. Hello, birds. Thank you, birds. The mourning doves are out in full force, and yeah, no, this is gonna be good. I'm gonna have needed this. I think both of us will. But yeah, I'll see if I can find a spot to stop and sit and vlog a little bit more. It is also the 29th, which means it is today and then tomorrow. And those are the last days of the DICE project goal. I will have made it to my end point. The question then becomes, if I do that, do I continue that? And I might. It's a fun little thing to end up doing. And I can probably vary up some more of what kind of dice I'm using in what places. Because mostly I've been using the D6 packs that I got from Die Hard Dice, which are very nice D6s, by the way. They look real neat. They feel real good. They're just solid D6s. And I don't know. I could use some percentiles. I used some differing sets of dice on purpose to do last night's project, which will be interesting. And I used to, back in the day, use a different set of D10s for that project, and interchanged those with the D6s depending on the day and what kind of photo I was going for. That would be nice. I also want to see if I can get some of the crystal dice, like the translucent ones, I had a set of the blue Chessex ones, and I lost it at some point. Unfortunately, that brick, because the container broke, and then a move happened, and I don't know where I put the bag that I put as many of them in as possible. So they are in limbo somewhere, but I will hopefully at some point grab a new set and use those. Yeah, I'm just excited to see my friend again. After all the fucking chaos of the past 2, 3, 4 months, it'll be exciting to just go up, hang out with my friend, and not have to give a shit about things for a week. And it'll be interesting because I think we'll try and do some podcast recording and some other stuff. Some stuff that we've been trying to make happen for a while, and I'm gonna start pushing to make those a thing. Now that I'm sitting there and I'm trying to do the creative momentum thing again, I think that's what's gonna end up happening. So now that that's gone and gotten moving again with this project, it makes sense to try and give some of those things a go. So, yeah. Well, there's our turn signal, so. Alright, I'm going to turn this off as I am pulling into a gas station momentarily, and then I'm getting on the road. So, see you later.
Okay, look.
Please welcome Adele Nazim.
Alright, so, and by now the festivities are winding down, and eventually you guys make your way to the Rambo House.
It's also really catchy.
Anyways, yeah. Hello. So we're in the car now, and the camera's on.
Oh, you're rolling?
Yeah, I'm rolling. I can edit this.
Should I blow a big fat raspberry right into the camera?
You don't have to. It's also fairly low light in here, so I've got the thing running in the low light mode. So, I don't know how much of that's going to show up later. So we just did a target run, and
as we do,
took the last photo thing not the last photo, the penultimate photo thing for the night. And you had a really cool idea for that, which was basically do the dashboard and get like the rain on the windshield of your car.
Yeah, I've always liked it when you have like rainy evenings and you've got like the light streaming in from streetlights or like the overhead gas station lights in just a particular way.
Yeah.
It's very pretty in a sort of like... there's probably a name for that aesthetic, but I, for the life of me, cannot remember what it is.
There is probably a technical term for it. I don't know what it is either, so... shrug. But...
Girlish whimsy.
Girlish whimsy. Childlike wonder. Yeah, I don't know.
No, you have something much more sinister going on.
What?
No, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Have you not seen that comic?
I have not, no, so you'll have to show that to me later.
Yeah, okay.
Anyways, welcome to the end of the vlog thing.
Hi! I can't believe you brought me on your vlog just to end the vlog.
Well, just to end this vlog in particular, I guess. I don't know. We're in the same place for the first time in 6 months, which is great.
Yeah.
So you also came up with a really cool idea for what's probably going to happen tomorrow, if I could work up the guts to
The courage.
attempt it. Yeah.
It's not that scary as
It's-
long as you don't fuck it up.
That's
Just do it right.
That's the problem.
You know, just do it right.
Yeah, just don't mess it up. Just don't mess it up, and you're fine. So yeah, I don't know. You've been tracking some of the photo stuff. What have you? Do you have any thoughts on it so far? You're just like, hey, it's a bunch of dice.
I mean, it is interesting how it's, I don't know, it's just an interesting creative framing project.
Just an interesting creative exercise.
Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do with it. I suppose you could make like a collage calendar or something along those lines.
Maybe, I don't know. I think the exercise was the point
The framing
of things.
and I guess looking at
itself.
interesting spots to take the pictures from.
Yeah, because when I started the project initially, the goal was just a means of getting back into doing photography, right?
Mhm.
A means of shaking off the rust, and that seems to have helped a lot in doing exactly that. So, the mission accomplished on that front. I don't know. I personally found it interesting to try and just take something kind of mundane and trying to make interesting stuff out of it in like a no judgment kind of context.
Yeah, plus I think projects like this, like little photography projects, get you to notice all these like smaller little spaces that you maybe have walked past a million times or lived near your whole life, and you never really like looked at them.
That's true.
I really appreciated the like, oh, this stone
yeah.
this stone has like this particular divot in it here, and
Because I had the couple times I did it with stone spots just near the mall, right?
yeah,
And they're all kind of just like, hey, like it's this spot on this wall. It's this spot on this thing. It's this. There was the one where I did one through the front of the mailbox, which is fun. My siblings poked fun at me for that because they were just like, okay, why were you standing in front of the mailbox with like a thing or taking photos of the inside of the mailbox? But I actually quite like how that particular photo came out. So, yeah.
just an opportunity to try different things.
Yeah. I'm hoping most of this footage doesn't come out completely black or messy or whatever for reasons, but
Well,
it'll be fine. It doesn't matter.
I have a whole like segment of me driving to get Thai food that was cut out of the first vlog video that
because
I made
it turned out all
because
black.
it turned out incredibly shitty. All right.
It's a good thing I don't care nearly as much about
Oh, there we go.
that. Suddenly the dash lights come on and oh, you can see us.
You can see us. I can't see anymore. Lemnad, please tell me you're putting that in.
I caught it, so yeah, that's gonna
Just
come
like slap the thing down.
Lemnad.
Slam.
Lemnad. All right.
A wound
We
square.
have- Ooh. Oh, these are interesting.
What is it?
It's a Big Larry.
Okay.
It's a flippy set.
Flippy thingy.
Yeah.
What's the extra tail on this thing for?
It's so you can set the distance
Oh, okay.
across the thing. Okay, so we've got these.
Okay.
I will take these.
What is it?
These are also Big Larry, but these specifically are the grays, right? These are not considered a beginner set. These are actually probably a fairly solid beginner set if you want to set.
Okay.
We get the round square.
I mean, I'm just gonna hurt myself with these,
Ooh,
as is norm.
that's a K-bone. Is this an Ultem K-bone? No.
What?
No, I don't think it is.
What is it?
Well, it's a.
Well, it's a knuckle bone, obviously.
Yeah. So
It's quite pretty.
you should get that one.
Okay.
Let's-
It is.
Correction. We'll see who should get that one
It's
after we figure out
plastic.
what this thing
It is not glass.
Well, no, it's either acrylic or Ultem. It's a like plastic of some kind. Let's see what this is.
Okay.
Oh, that's an anodized aluminum Jedi.
think you should have that one.
Okay, so I've got the Deadeye and the Grays. You get this, which I will help you string up, and then you get this.
A Canuck Soul Bomb.
Yeah.
Canuck Soul Bomb.
To fiddle around with. I already have a patch. Do you want the patch?
What's the patch?
This is the patch.
Oh, it's an Iron-On patch?
It's an Iron-On Ranger patch, yeah.
Around Square.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, it's Velcro.
Yeah, it's Velcro. So you can pull it off if you want to.
Okay. So I could also reasonably just stick it onto almost anything.
Yeah.
Instead of just like this is Iron-On, right?
Yeah, that side. This side, I believe, is Iron-On.
Iron-On, and then just stick on. All right. Now to the important business. Let's try this lemonade.
Yep. Lemonade. Hang on.
That's a lot of sugar.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Dude, it's 64 grams a bottle. That's a lot.
Wait, hang on.
You need to shake it?
I don't know if you do.
It doesn't say.
And it's just filtered water, pure cane sugar, lemon juice from concentrate, and natural flavors.
Good ingredients. I like those ingredients.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
It's a very sweet lemonade.
Well, again, 68 grams of sugar in this bottle.
Dang. Man.
I don't think I'll get that brand again.
Yeah, I usually like the Calypso stuff. Just because the stuff at...
Oh, hey, look. I have this one that you made for me.
Forever ago. Oh my god, I can't believe you still have this.
And it's also not gray anymore.
Was this gray originally?
Yes.
How did it end up like burgundy?
So this is a funny story, actually. Did
this end up in the wash?
No. It's a much stranger story than that. That stems out of my own impulsivity, for the most part.
Oh, no.
It is soaked in expired cough syrup.
Not what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, no. So, I had some cough syrup that went bad, and I said, this cough syrup is a really, really deep, pretty red color. This gray Buglari set would look really nice in that color. So I just left it in the bottle for a month.
It
does look nice.
It worked.
It 100% worked.
What?
It's not the deep red color that the cough syrup was, but...
Oh my god, what? This is...
It's a little bit crunchier than it used to be as well.
It's short. Either it shrank or...
It must have shrunk.
Yeah.
I think, because the cable feels a little bit tighter than I think...
Well, we'll get you a proper one. It'll be a whole thing. These are going to be...
I mean, it was mostly like, I don't know how to use these, so it was also just like a experiment.
I was going to order a set of these this weekend.
Well, now
really
you don't
I
have
didn't.
to.
I'm really glad I didn't. I think I was even going to... No, I was going to order them in stainless. I wasn't going to order them in copper. I was going to order them in stainless. But, dang.
Let's get...
All right.
Nosaru can move over to here.
All right. I'm gonna get my computer set up so I can start editing.
Okay.
This work this time. Zoom, unzoom. Thank you. There we go. Okay.
Look, I told you, I'm interpreting the starting of your vlog the way I start my vlogs.
Fine.
Or more accurately, is an extension of how Tomska used to start and end his vlogs.
Fine.
Because I'm adapting / stealing his style.
Fine.
And a reminder of last week, which is probably one of the most important vlog series that I've ever seen.
That's true. You do keep talking about how important that vlog series is to you. So,
Do what we want. Sweet.
I think I'm good on candy for the night.
Okay. You have your mints.
I do.
And I also have
you know
your
what?
mints.
I just forgot I had the mints until you mentioned that I had the mints. So I have the mints. So
And
we're
I also have your mints.
yeah, we've got the mints. We'll be fine. Okay. So I asked you last night what your thoughts were on the DICE project.
And I fumbled around for a couple seconds before finding my words because I wasn't expecting you to ask my opinion.
You were fairly eloquent and cohesive.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me concerning the project? I think it's probably the next question to ask.
Yeah. I mean, so my approach to this project has mostly been, oh neat, every time I see it. So
Fair.
I haven't really memorized or paid too much attention to all of the photos.
Okay.
So I don't necessarily know which one you're talking about as you answer this, but you will, and your viewers probably will.
Maybe.
Which one has been your favorite?
Ooh.
You had to pick one that is the best, not necessarily the best picture, but the most interesting from a process standpoint, the most interesting time that you had taking the picture.
That's a really good question, actually. Because there was the one I did where coming out of a freelance gig, right? I noticed there was a no smoking sign. Be careful with that, please. I spent all of $30 on that for you.
Yes, I should be more careful with it.
Just a little bit. Man, yeah. I think probably the no smoking one was probably a pretty good one. What else? There was one I did. The one I did today was pretty solid. The one from last night was also pretty fun from a process perspective. I'm gonna say probably the one from last night, the one on the dash, right? Just from an aesthetic standpoint and figuring out how to make that work. And also, probably if I didn't have to include you in the process of the two that are really solid, I'd probably say the one with the no smoking sign.
Okay.
That's probably where I'd start. In the meantime, we're about to enter the place with all the Gundam things, so we'll resume this conversation when we get out.
Dash to do more of my vlogs.
I could also set mine up on the dash if you want to, and again, I'll share the footage with you, but yeah.
Let's see if we can find it.
You could, but our cameras shoot very differently.
Yeah.
Remember, my camera is all womp womp.
Is it?
It's got a fisheye lens.
Oh, right, forgot about that. Anyways,
You will never forget about that.
I'm not going to forget
I'm
about
not
that
going to allow you to forget about that.
Ah, God help me.
Homestar Runner is the very blood that makes up my DNA. It's a bad analogy, but like, all right, you want B-roll of the melting clown sculpture?
Oh yeah, let's walk over here and get a shot of the freaking
Sad,
dying,
wet,
exploded clown.
sad, wet, bouncy castle.
While we're doing that, right?
Have you poked me back?
I don't think I have,
Rats.
because you poked me right before we left. Anyways, oh, if that ends up in the vlog, there are gonna be some people wondering what that means. But whatever, we can explain Getting Cross at some later date.
The update.
Okay, I was gonna wait
Easy
to have
solution.
you do that on your vlog so I could send people over to your vlog.
Well, then cut this out.
Okay.
Like, it's easy enough to do that.
At this point, most of that's getting cut out. At this point, we're just heading over here to look at this.
Yeah.
This is the melted clown thing.
That's wild and kind of dystopian, actually.
Honestly, depressing as shit, is what I think.
That's great.
Yeah. All right, come on, let's get going.
This is the postmodern equivalent of hanging out in a graveyard.
Kind of, yeah, a little bit. So you asked what my favorite was,
Yeah.
and I kind of gave an answer to that.
Yep.
I should point out, the two of us just bought more dice. I bought dice, and
I bought
he bought dice. You bought dice.
I don't usually buy dice,
Yeah.
but I'm inspired. I'm going to try to do this too. Don't
Okay.
hold me to that because I won't do it. But I think I might.
Well, I
So
mean,
I'm gonna try,
I'm at that
but then I
point where,
won't.
yeah, but I'm at that point where I'm thinking I do want to do it for another month, at least to
I got
attempt it.
these. They're super pretty. Look how pretty.
Nice. I got 2 crystal sets. I replaced the one that I lost, and I got a nice yellow set. So there's
There's
that.
I should start thinking about playing the Gestalt 5e Gestalt campaign again.
Gestalt campaign.
I need to trick someone into running 5e Gestalt. The one where you play as 2 classes?
Oh, isn't that just multi-classing?
No. In a Gestalt campaign, or in the way that Gestalt campaigns were described to me as, which
Okay.
may not be accurate to what they are, is that you play 2 classes, and every time you level up, you get a level in both.
Oh, interesting.
I'm gonna play Monk Rogue, focus on non-lethal damage.
Oof.
I've seen someone do this in a campaign that I ran. He ended up punching out a dinosaur by the end of the campaign.
A
He was
dinosaur.
level 5.
That's nuts. That's so nuts.
I ran out of D6s to lend him. All right, scrunch that onto the handle there.
Okay. Oh. Okay. I guess we're setting up for the other vlog now.
I mean, we can.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, do you have any other things to ask or try to pry out of me about the thing before?
I mean, look, I'll be honest, I haven't really been paying attention to your project
How dare you!
on account of, you know, I've had my own shit.
Life has been happening. Yeah, no, that's fair.
I've been worrying about how to bees.
Oh, that's true. We should talk about the bees thing. I'll make that part of a separate vlog and not this one.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I would say the dice project is a success.
Yeah, I would call it that.
Okay, cool. So we'll do that, and yeah. Okay, time to set up for the other vlog, and this will be the end of this one. It's been, I don't know, it's been an interesting month, but the goal was accomplished, and so I'll leave it here. Bye.
Bye.
See you in the next one.